I want to welcome you for joining us for the virtual information session this evening. I'd like to point out that joining me this evening is Faye McCoy. Faye is our program coordinator and chief problem solver for triaging and helping students to get their questions answered and pointing them in the right direction of if she can't help them, who can help them. And in addition to Faye, who's here, we have Lizzie Raffo, and Lizzie is a part of our recruitment team. So she's kind of our wizard behind the curtain for this evening. And both Faye and Lizzie are very knowledgeable about the program and are going to be assisting me with answering your questions this evening. I just want to say that the agenda that we're going to follow this evening is pretty much the same format that we use for all of our virtual information sessions for the PreHealth program. And it's proven to be pretty effective in helping to answer prospective students' questions about our preparatory programs. We're going to, I will open up with a little bit of a brief introduction of both of our programs, and then we're going to invite you, by opening up the floor to share your questions. I do ask that you put your questions in the Q&A box that you'll see at the bottom. And if you forget and you put your questions in the chat, it's perfectly fine. We'll see them there and we'll answer your questions in the chat as well. Faye is going to be putting important information into the chat, information about application deadlines, so important dates like that. She will also put a link to the website there because our website is full of a lot of really key detailed information about what we offer here at Penn. And then both Lizzie and Faye will put contact information if you need to reach out to anybody for follow-up after this virtual information session. So we want to cover all the bases to assure that you get your questions answered. While I'm presenting, I want you to be thinking about a couple of things related to your interest in the University of Pennsylvania and the programs that we offer here. I want you to spend a couple of minutes contemplating about whether or not you can really see yourself here at Penn as a pre-health student. And what is it going to take for you to succeed here at Penn? That's important for you to think about. And what kinds of plans are you making to ensure that you're going to be able to clear the decks and make this transition to a preparatory program? I also want you to think a little bit about how you're going to fit with the rest of the pre-health community. What value added do you think you have to bring to this dynamic student community that we have? Also, I just want to brag a little bit about some of our students. So we had a group of students from one of our student interest groups who developed an online self-paced non-credit enrichment program on health disparities in medicine. And that just won, recently just won an award for an outstanding program award from UPSIA in continuing and online education. So we're sort of celebrating that. And I also want to brag that one of our instructors has received her second teaching award for excellence in teaching. So we want to congratulate Dr. Basu as well. So I think announcements about both of those things will be hitting the website very soon. So that's just to say that this is a very dynamic community. There are lots of opportunities here. We have excellent advising team and excellent instructors as well. So it's a great opportunity if you think it's a good fit. So that's one of the things that we're always looking for with our applicants about, how is this the right program to help you succeed to reach your goals? So before I lose my voice, I'm going to give you a little introduction to both of the programs. So hopefully you've taken an opportunity to comb through our website and look at what we offer here at Penn. We have two distinct programs. We have a career changer program that's called the Course Studies program, and we have an academic enhancer program called the Specialized Studies program. Now, there are some students who are going to be here in the audience tonight who may fall somewhere in between and say, well, gosh, I had, the first part of some of these science courses and not the second part. And which program should I apply to? So it's not unusual for a student to fall somewhere in between. So if you think about a Venn diagram, there's that, intersecting area where some students find themselves in the middle. Usually I say, just go ahead and apply to which program you think is the best fit. And if we're interested in inviting you to an interview, and every applicant that we're considering for admission must interview with the program. If we're inviting you to an interview, you will discuss the appropriateness of the fit and which program with the person who interviews you for the program. So we work all of that out. So there's no need to really stress, oh, I made a mistake, I applied to the wrong program. We will follow up with you about what we think is the most appropriate option for you, okay? So that said, I'm gonna start in this evening and talk to you a little bit about the Course Studies program. The Course Studies program is a classic career changer program. Students in this program are taking typically 2 semesters of introductory bio, 2 semesters of introductory chemistry, 2 semesters of introductory physics, 2 semesters of organic chemistry, and all of those courses come with labs, so the labs associated with those courses, and then a semester of biochemistry. That comes up to 13 course units. At Penn, we're a little different. We use the course units for the weight of our courses as opposed to credit hours, but a course unit is typically equivalent to 4 credit hours. So the Core Studies program is planned to be a minimum of 12 course units. So the courses I just explained, if you took all of those courses as part of the program, it would be 13 course units. So many of the course students are taking somewhere between, a minimum of 12, most take at least 13, up to somewhere around 16 course units. The Course Studies program is designed, and our specialized program as well, designed for people who are planning to apply to medical school, to veterinary school, or to dental school. So for many of the course students who are interested in veterinary medicine or dental medicine, there may be additional prerequisites that you need to meet for those programs, such as physiology or microbiology, or biochemistry is required typically for dental school and for veterinary school as well, and a few other requirements. So that's where the additional coursework may come in for people who are pursuing dentistry or veterinary medicine. So it's great to know that, and we've had students who come in and they want to go in one direction and then change their mind and want to go in another direction. But it's great to know that coursework is broad enough so that you can get the prerequisites that you need for courses, for application to those professional schools. Core students typically are advised not to work. So I did mention that all of the Core Studies courses come with laboratories. The majority of them are laboratory science courses. And believe it or not, that half a CU of lab that is added along with the course is very time consuming. So labs tend to be very time-consuming courses. And if all the courses you're taking at one time are laboratory courses, you're going to have very little time left in your schedule. So we typically recommend that course students not work. A full-time course student, well, let me just say that we accept applications for the core program in the summer, and we accept applications for the core program in the fall. The majority of our students enter in the fall. And that kind of makes sense because most of those courses are sequential. So we offer the first semester in the fall, second semester in the spring. In summer session, you would take courses in a condensed format. So a 14-week course would be condensed into 5.5, and you would take that 2-course sequence over an 11-week semester with 5.5, the first half and 5.5, the second half in the second 5.5 weeks. So that's very condensed. Typically for core students, we start with biological sciences in the summer, but some students are eligible to start with chemistry in the summer. For chemistry start, you have to have had 2 semesters of college calculus or 2 semesters of AP calculus in high school, and that has to be documented on your transcript. So that's a requirement for taking and starting with chemistry in the summer. Many times students who start with chemistry in the summer want to do the program in a 1-year timeline. The typical timeline for moving through the core program is 2 years, but with permission from the director of the program, we can allow qualified students to move through the program at a faster, more accelerated pace with a summer start in chemistry and then completing the coursework the following spring. It's a very demanding way to do it, and we only have a handful of students who pursue the program that way. Mostly because students who are in the core program also need experience. So if your every waking hour is spent doing academics and coursework, it's very hard to fit in other opportunities for gaining experience. I do want to mention that if there are any international students, we do accept applications from international students, but international students are required to start in the summer, and typically, because of visa restrictions, are given 1 year to complete their coursework, and so that requires a summer start, and they must complete their coursework the following spring. So it is a very demanding schedule for international students. So the typical core study student will be following their timeline over approximately 2 years, whether you're a summer start or a fall start. Most students start with biology in the summer. If you're a fall start, you're typically going to be starting with general chemistry and physics together. Now, general chemistry and physics are the 2 most math-intensive courses in the program. So it is very important that you look at the website where we describe what the math skills are that you need to be able to have a fall start and to be able to start with chemistry and physics. We do require that you have at least 1 semester of college pre-calculus, not calculus, but you have to have pre-calculus, which is advanced algebra and trig, and that must be on your transcript. If you're contemplating applying to this program and you haven't had a pre-calculus course as part of your college preparation, you might want to think about applying for the fall and using the summer to take a pre-calculus course before you would start the program. That would have to be someplace other than Penn because we do not offer pre-calculus as part of the curriculum in the college or in LPS. That option is not available here, but it is required to prepare you for the math that you will take. In addition to requiring a minimum of 1 semester of college level precalculus, we have a math on-ramp course for every course student. And I should say it's not just for course students. So any specialized student who might need to also take either Gen Chem or physics is going to be required to take this online math on-ramp course that we have. We offer that in the summer. So it is possible for a student to be taking summer courses as part of the curriculum and fulfilling the requirement to do the math on-ramp course at the same time. The math on-ramp course is an online self-paced course. We give students 11 weeks to complete the course. It doesn't take 11 weeks. But it starts with a pretest to assess where your math skills are, and then moves you through a set of modules to assure that you have either relearned or covered, that material, so your math skills are sharp by the time you start your chemistry and your physics. It's very inexpensive also, so this is not a credit-bearing course. It only costs about $30 for students to be able to do this, and it's great. You view it as an opportunity for you to have, in an organized way, a way to sharpen your specific math skills that you're going to need to do the work in general chemistry and in physics so that you can succeed. And that's what we're really interested in our students. We're really interested in knowing you, understanding you, and setting you up for success so that you can reach the goals that you're here to accomplish. And so this edition of the Math on-Ramp course is part of that structure that we're providing to help you move forward in this direction. What else can I tell you about the core? I think I'll move on to talk about specialized studies a little bit. So specialized studies is designed for students who maybe didn't do as well in their undergraduate program as they like to. They were a science major, bio major, biochemistry major, and they're just not as happy with their overall GPA or the science GPA and want opportunity to strengthen that. That's one of the values of this program that we have. The courses that we offer in the specialized studies program, there's an incredible breadth and depth of advanced coursework there, so that you're not repeating courses that you already took. And the beauty of the fact that these are advanced undergraduate courses is that they will go into your undergraduate ECPM and your undergraduate overall GPA. And because you're hopefully going to excel in those courses, they will be, and they're weighted, at 4 credits. They're going to be able to pull that GPA up. So that is one of the advantages of a structured, comprehensive preparatory program like the specialized studies program with advanced undergraduate courses. We offer some unique courses that you don't find oftentimes in undergraduate curriculum. So we have an entire series of online anatomy courses developed by Penn School of Medicine. Some of them are very specific also. So if you're interested in dental medicine, we have one that's specific to the head and neck anatomy. This course is very important for people going in the pre-dental direction because anatomy is one of the most challenging courses that you're going to get in your first year of dental school. So it's designed to prepare you for that. We have histology, which is you don't find very often as part of an undergraduate curriculum, infectious diseases, and other advanced bio courses that you're not going to find, in a lot of undergrad curriculum. So, but in addition to that, there are also these very interesting neuroscience courses. So maybe you didn't have an opportunity as an undergraduate to take any neurosciences. So this might give you an opportunity to delve into neuroscience a little bit as well. So in addition to wanting to bring a GPA up, the specialized studies students oftentimes just want more time. So a student may be pretty sure that they want to go to medical school. They may have a really great GPA on it, but they might want more time to mature and develop in particular areas. Maybe they want some more time to do some research, to maybe do some additional, experiences to help them understand a little bit more about different dimensions of the profession that they're interested in pursuing. And that's a perfectly appropriate reason for you to seek out a preparatory program. Both programs, the core studies program and the specialized studies program, are what we refer to as structured comprehensive programs. They are not cohort programs, so everybody's not starting at the same time. Specialized studies students may start in the summer, in the fall, or in the spring. But every student is not following and taking the same courses. We have a very individualized and a tailored approach to structuring a study plan that meets your needs and your goals. We have an advising team of 6 advisors. I direct the advising team. I have a full-time advisor as part of the team, and we have additionally 4 instructors in the program who are also PreHealth advisors. So we have an open advising system. We communicate as one with the students. And so if you meet with one advisor, the next time you meet with another advisor, they know your story, they have details about your needs, and they can follow up and pick up with where your last advising session was. You schedule your appointments through a virtual community that we have. You can choose to see your favorite advisor. You can choose to see a first available advisor. But I strongly recommend that when you first get to the program that you take time to go around and meet each member of the team and introduce yourself to them and tell them a little bit about your backstory, so that when you do have opportunity to meet with them, they know a little bit about you. In addition, the advising team also comprises the PreHealth Committee, who are involved in recommending students and writing committee letters for medical school and dental school admissions. The veterinary students don't need a committee letter, but they are eligible to request a director's letter from me if you would like a letter of support from the program as well. So we do offer that in addition to individual letter support for those students. Some students may decide when you come in, well, I thought I wanted to go to medical school, but you know what? I think really PA school is the best fit for me, or maybe nursing school. That's fine. This is really a place where you are processing your next step, discerning what is the right career direction for you. And we want you to come in early and often to process that with members of your advising team so we can help you make the best decision for you. We will support you in whatever career direction you want to go. So if it's PA, physical therapy, or any other, podiatry, any other profession that you want to go in, we will advise you and help to support you in that direction. I think I've been talking for a while, and talking long enough, there probably are some things that you wanted me to say that I haven't talked about. But what I'm going to do at this point is open it up to your questions. I'll take a look. Let me just eyeball what's in the chat, and then I'll go right over to the Q&A and start to go through the questions and answers. So I want to invite each one of you who's here to go ahead and just put your questions in the Q&A, and we'll take our time and go through those questions. All right, so let me see, I'm taking a peek here. Okay, good. All right, thank you. And I'm jumping over the Q&A. And I'm looking at the first question now. So the first question is, can you work while in this program? And are courses really offered in the evening times? That's a good question. Do courses start at the middle of, oh gosh, and can I apply to the program when I'm still an undergrad? I will be done with my core classes in spring of 23, but I have to do an internship and participate in August graduation. Okay, there's a lot of questions from you in that one question. So let's see if I can tease it all apart and answer each one. First of all, I don't know which program you're thinking of applying to, because we do have two distinct programs, core studies and specialized studies. So I'm going to make an assumption that you're talking about the core studies program. I just said earlier that we do not recommend that students work in the core studies program. But if you are looking at the specialized studies program, many of our students in the specialized program do work. They're different in terms of the courses that they take. For a specialized studies program, student, if they want to be full-time, they would be taking 4 courses a semester. And if they want to do it in 1 year, it would be 4 courses, say, in the fall, and then 4 courses in the spring, and then they're finished. But you can't work full-time to do that. So many of our specialized study students work full-time and take 2 courses, and then spread that out and distribute those course units over a longer period of time. So as I said, 2 years is kind of a typical timeline for our students to be in the program. Every student, when they come into the program, is given 2 years to complete their academic program. Whether you do it in a shorter period of time, or we also can extend that period of time under certain circumstances. So that's something to, during admissions, have a conversation. We always like to have a preliminary timeline for students when they come in. Nothing's etched in stone. It is possible to go from full-time to part-time and back again. Yes, courses are really offered in the evening. So in the fall and in the spring, our courses are offered in the evening. In the summer, our courses are offered all throughout the daytime hours and also in the evening. So it's important to look ahead to understand, a student might want to start in, if you're a specialized student, start in the summer, but then realize, oh gosh, that course that I was going to take is offered during the day, not in the evening. And it's going to interfere with my work schedule. So then maybe, applying for the fall makes more sense. Do classes start in the middle of August or the end of our summer term? Oh, for the fall term. Our summer term starts in May, and our fall term starts before Labor Day. So the week before Labor Day. So it really is the end of August. Can you apply for a program while you're still matriculated as an undergraduate student? Yes, you can. So let's say it's your senior year and you're going to be graduating. You may apply to the program, but you may not start the program until you have graduated. So because this is a post-baccalaureate program, it means that you must have earned a bachelor's level degree or higher. So that's very important with the timing of it. So if you're not graduating until, you know, August, your best time to apply to start may be a fall application as opposed to a summer application. Understand? Because you have to provide proof of graduation before you're able to start the program. So there's no reason to be in a rush. Just, you know, have those conversations to see what timeline plan is going to make the most sense for you. Okay, do students in the course studies program function as a cohort at Penn? i.e., do course study students take courses together as opposed to the undergraduates? Okay, so typically a cohort program is not defined as whether or not you're taking courses with, you know, undergraduate students or not, but I can say we are not a typical cohort program, but we are structured such that the course studies students take classes with course studies students only for the most part. Our students are not, our courses are not scheduled so that our students are taking classes with the regular undergrads during the day. As I said, our classes are in the evening, but our courses are parallel. So if you're taking general chemistry in LPS with us, it's all core students in that class. If you're taking general chemistry in the college, it's all college undergrads in that class, but they're the same courses. We have to follow the same curriculum as defined by the college. People who teach for this program, when I hire someone to teach for this program, they have to be approved by the departments in the college. So, you know, they are very much parallel and equivalent to the courses that are being taught in day courses. So the course students, let me talk a little bit more about this program. So the course study students do take courses together. I would say the pre-health students do. So you might have a specialized study student in the same class with you as a core student. So it's not that it's just core or just specialized courses. Pre-health students take all of the pre-health courses that are offered. And so, you know, for one of those students who falls in between the core and specialized, they'll be taking classes with some core students and advanced classes with specialized study students, but they're all pre-health. Now, we are going to have occasionally a regular undergrad who is taking classes with our students, and that's fine. They do that with approval of the program. We might have graduate students from time to time taking classes with our students, but the majority of everyone you're taking classes with are going to be your fellow students in the program. Students do a lot of things together. There's a lot of community. We have a student leadership program. We have student interest groups. So students sign up to do activities and service activities and volunteer activities together. So you're not just going to meet core students in the program, you're going to meet other pre-health students in the program. You're going to meet pre-meds, you're going to meet pre-vets, you're going to meet pre-dentals. So that's, you know, it's more dynamic than you just everybody taking the same classes, and every class you're in, you're going to see the same faces. It's going to be much more dynamic than that. This isn't a cookie cutter program. We individualize the courses and the study plan for students based on what your prior academic history is and what you need for the pathway that you follow. Okay, does that make sense? I saw on the website that the course studies is math intensive, and I saw the prerequisites you want us to master before coming. I'm currently enrolled in college algebra, and next semester I'll be doing trig. In both courses, we're covering every prerequisite requirement. Will I still have to take a math test before coming into the program? My professor told me I do not have to take precalculus because I have covered it within my curriculum of the algebra class. If that's the case, when we review your transcript and we evaluate the math courses that you've had, we're not going to have you take an additional course. As long as you have covered the material that would be covered in a precalculus course, then yes, you will be fine. Do you have to take a math test before coming into the program? Everyone who's coming into the program and taking general chemistry or physics, excuse me, whether you're a core student or a specialized student, must take the math on ramp course. That's not the same thing as a precalculus course. That is a math review course. So you're going to be coming into this program with people who haven't seen math for like 3 years. Maybe you just had your math courses last year. That's great. Then you're going to be able to take the pretest and zip right through it really quickly. But we do this to assure that everyone is entering into the academic program with sharpened math skills and everybody's at the same level. Okay. We even have students who have a PhD in math and they take the ALEX Math on Ramp course. So it is a requirement for the program. We don't have any exemptions for that. And it just assures that everyone is starting with at least a basic minimum skill level. Okay. Could we take precalculus in the spring elsewhere and apply to the summer program without precalculus on our transcript? Well, precalculus would be on your transcript if you're taking it elsewhere, because wherever you are, you have to submit a transcript for every college you've attended. So if you're attending in the spring and you're taking precalculus somewhere, it's going to be on your transcript. You won't have a grade for it until the end of the spring semester, but yes, you can submit your application showing that you're taking the course and enrolled in a course. But then before you're eligible to take any classes with us, you need to submit that final transcript so that we can see that you completed the course successfully, and we can see the grade on your transcript. Hello, can I say my question on the microphone instead of typing it so I can explain it better while speaking? You know, I don't really know, Shelby, because I don't control the controls. So I don't know if there's a way to turn on the microphone. Do you know, Lizzie?
Oh, okay. Hi, everybody. Hi, Mrs. Jackie. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you actually ended up answering my question. I didn't know that it had sent in the box. I was the one asking about the math, because I can provide my I'm still going to send my syllabus when I apply for the program and just
Right.
so you can see, because our school math curriculum is a little different here, and yeah, so our math curriculum is different here, and like after
That's fine. We'll review what's on your transcript and then have that discussion with you.
That math class that you're referring to, so it's going to be a class that we're taking, not a test.
It has a pre-test. Everybody does it individually. It's online. It's self-paced. First thing is you take a pre-test. The pre-test says, aha, you can do X, Y, and Z, but you need a little bit more work in A, B, and C. So it's gonna give you modules to work on in the A, B, and C to build those skills. And then at the very end, you take a post-test. It says, I've acquired these skills. It's, if you had math in college, it's just going to be a review.
Okay, but so it won't make us ineligible to take the chemistry and physics because we'll be doing them at the same
It's
time.
required. Before you can take chemistry or physics, you must complete the math on-ramp course.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. How many students are in each program? So there, let's see, we probably have about, right now, 75 students in each program. It varies from year to year, depending on how many students we have, but it's pretty equally balanced right now, with about 75 and 75 right now. What does structure look like within the specialized program for MCAT prep? That's a really good question. We don't have an integrated MCAT prep with the program. So some of the other programs will include, charges for running an MCAT prep program, and everybody takes the same program. Our students have, I like to give students a little bit more choice, because some students may come into our program, they already have the MCAT. So I don't want to make them pay for an MCAT program if they've already taken the MCAT and don't need to retake it. Also, some students may have taken a structured program in the past, and now they want to work with an individual tutor if they're for their MCAT prep. Some students may have done one program, now they want to start and work with another program. So people have individual learning styles, individual learning needs. I don't think there's any one right answer that works for everyone, whether they're specialized or core. But we do offer a partnership and a discount on taking the MCAT. So exactly what that's going to be for this coming year and what the price point is going to be for the students is still in negotiation. But every year there is an opportunity to take a discounted rate on a structured MCAT prep program that we offer within the program. But I don't require and charge every student for taking an MCAT program. Besides, some of our, our pre-vet students certainly don't need, to pay for an MCAT course that they don't need to take. So that's how we do it in this program. It's a little bit different. Okay. Let's see, Faye is answering this next question, so I'm going to skip down to the next one. How many students are accepted for a specialized studies program in the spring and in the fall? All right, so specialized studies students apply for summer, fall, and spring. So how many students are accepted into the specialized program in the spring depends on how many apply. So in spring, there are far fewer applicants to the program. So we might get anywhere from 5 to 7. One year it was 14 that we had in the spring. Very small. We got a little bit larger number than that in the summer. So there might be around 20, 30 or so students coming in, specialized students coming in the summer. And then, depending on the year and the number of applications, there could be anywhere from, 35 to 50 or so specialized students coming in the fall. Okay. So, it does vary from semester to semester and year to year in terms with the volume of applications. Do you know the average GPA on courses from your program for students completing the course studies program? Mm-hmm. The average GPA is around 3.6 for core studies in our program. Okay. Natalie wants to know if there's a significant overlap in professors and doctors of those who teach courses within the specialized program, as well as M1 and M2 courses in the medical school. No, there really isn't. The only overlap that we have with professors who are teaching in Perelman School of Medicine would be in the anatomy courses, the series of anatomy courses that we offer. And that was developed and is taught by Professor White, who also teaches anatomy in for the medical students in Perelman School of Medicine. We have Dr. Cancro, who teaches. He also is a faculty member in the School of Medicine. And in one of our neuroscience courses, we have a physician from Jefferson, who's teaching one of those advanced courses. So, but other than that, no, there isn't a lot of overlap. You know, the university is structured such that, you know, people who have appointments in medicine, you know, aren't necessary. They're teaching usually in medicine, or their role is in medicine, as opposed to, you know, here with us, which is the School of Arts and Sciences. So it's a little different. We do have great partnership with Perelman on many things, but and you know, and some of the faculty do teach for us, but you're not going to see a whole lot of overlap. Okay. What kind of support is there for students seeking help with coursework problem sets? Are there dedicated tutors or quantitative center? The instructor is your first line of support. We also have a tutoring center at Penn, which is available to you. They may or may not have tutors for that subject, depending on what the subject is, but going and working with your instructor, going to office hours, attending recitations, if your course has a recitation, those are really important. We also have a learning center here if you might need, you know, some help with organization and study skills and other strategies for approaching studying in a STEM field. That's a good idea for you to take advantage of that as well. And one of our student groups, the AMWA group, which is the American Women in Medicine, they had a tutoring service activity where the advanced students would offer tutoring to students in the program here, you know, if they needed help with the courses. So there are a variety of resources available to you. If students have other needs where they need accommodations, they might have learning differences. We have a student disability services program. You should alert them if you're coming to Penn early on so that you can move through whatever the criteria is to get evaluated for the appropriate accommodations that you might need for your program. Okay, hi Max. We're getting close to the end. Let me check the time. Okay, we have about 10 more minutes left. Max wants to know for specialized studies, what's the overall GPA and science GPA that would be considered competitive when applying? Is there a statistic data applicants can reference to determine how competitive we are? So what I can say in answer to that, Max, is that I don't focus our admissions committee specifically on data points. They are important in the process, but they're not absolute cut points. I can tell you as a specialized student, to be competitive, you should have at least a 3 out for an overall GPA for sure, and your science GPA. The majority of the specialized study students are over that. You know, it's not uncommon for us to see someone with a 3.5, 3.6 overall GPA. But I say this to let you know that there are people below a 3 out who get in. They might have a 3.0 overall GPA and 2.8 science GPA, and that person may really present as a very strong candidate for our program. So it's not just about your GPA data point. There are other people who have maybe strong GPAs who maybe are not a good fit for our program. So, you know, it's really a holistic review, looking at your whole academic history, the courses you've taken. If you've struggled as an undergraduate, we want to understand why, Max. We need to understand what the struggle was, what caused the problem, and has there been a resolution to that? So what's going to be different now than in your undergrad, you know, history, if you know, GPA is the issue? All right. And those are things to really be very transparent and have a discussion about. That's how you're going to be able to identify what program is really right for you and how you're going to be successful, you know, going into medical school. For the committee letter, is it possible for my undergrad letter to be combined? Now, we don't combine the letters, but it is possible if you have a committee letter from your undergraduate institution, you can choose. You can say, I want to use the committee letter from my undergraduate institution because I was there for 4 years and they know me better than the program at Penn. I like for students to use our committee letter process, but we don't require. So you can choose to use our committee letter process, which is going to be more current, or use a committee letter process from your undergraduate institution. Okay. Are the courses in the core program specifically designed for just the post-bac program and preparation for MCAT, or are all places? I think I already answered this. No, students don't take classes with the typical day undergrads because our classes are in the evening, but our classes are equivalent to those classes. So when you're taking general chemistry, you're taking general chemistry. You're not taking a chemistry course that's designed for you to do well on the MCAT. You know, you're taking the whole shebang. You know, it's equivalent to what you would be getting if you were taking it during the day. Okay. Are there opportunities to shadow Penn doctors and gain clinical experiences through the specialized studies program? Yes, there are. We've got a great program here, the Academic Associates program. It's competitive. You can apply for a position there. You get clinical research experience. You have opportunity to shadow physicians. It can even grow into, you know, fuller time working paid positions for many students. And so that's a great plus. Let me check the time again. Okay, I have 5 more minutes. So I'm going to rush through the rest of these questions. And listen, before we get to the end, I want to say to all of you, thank you very much for coming this evening. If your questions, we get to the end of our time, because we do have, you know, a hard cut time at 6 o'clock. If your question wasn't answered, we will get back to you. So feel free to use the contact information in the chat to reach out to either Faye or to Lizzie and get your questions answered. All right. So how important is previous healthcare experience in the application process? I'll tell you how important it is. It's important enough that we want to understand what you know about the chosen field that you think you want to go into. So we want to understand what you've done, how you've explored it, what experiences and exposure you've had to the field. That's how important it is. Okay. How many students are typically in each course? I would say that it's typical for most of our courses to be some of our courses are limited to 20 students, so they can't have more than 20 students. Other courses, it's more typical to see 25, 35 students. Occasionally there's a class, you know, one class in particular is immunobiology. That could be, you know, 50, 60, 70 students, but, you know, there might be 3 TAs, you know, in the course. So, and I never hear a complaint from anyone about that. It's a phenomenal course that everybody seems to really love. It's really hard, but everybody seems to really love it. What are you typically looking for in an ideal candidate during the interview? Well, we're looking for a motivated student. We're looking to understand your drive. We're looking to understand your interests. We're looking to understand your past academic history. And for you to talk to us about your interests and your passion. We want to see that. So that's what's really important, really motivated students who can do the work. So if we don't think you're strong enough student to do the work, we're not going to offer an interview or admission. So it's very important that we have a good sense of, if you did have a rocky academic history, what that was all about. Okay, very important. Do we have to complete the program before applying to medical school or any other professional school? So I think what I'm taking away from that question is, if I started your program, say in the fall, but I already had an active application to medical school and I got an offer, would I have to complete your program? No, you wouldn't. So, occasionally there are students who come to the program and they already have an active application and they're kind of, this is my plan B. I think I may have answered your question, but not sure. For some students, it's really important to finish the program because it's the only way that you're going to affect the change that you're hoping to gain from coming to a program like this. So it really depends on why you're coming to a preparatory program. Okay. For the most part, I would say for most people, yeah, it's important to finish the program to get out of it what the program can do for you. And I just have to say, everyone, we're at 6 o'clock now, and I am going to have to end the session now. But once again, thank you very much for coming. And we will do our best to get your questions answered. So Lizzie, if you can make sure that you've put, contact information in the chat so that students can grab that real quick and know how they can follow up with you. And good luck to all of you. And thank you for coming. I hope that you gained a lot from this information session. And don't forget to read that website because we do answer a lot of the questions right there. Have a good night.